Have you ever wished you could just put all those boring, repetitive tasks on autopilot? Well, today we're going to unpack a super powerful automation tool called n8n. And the best part? We're going to do it fast. So let's jump right in. So let me just ask you this straight up. Are you tired of doing the same manual stuff over and over and over again? Copying data from one place to another, sending out the same emails, updating spreadsheets. That is the exact problem that automation was born to solve. So what is n8n really? The easiest way to think about it is like a digital middleman. Its whole job is to grab data from one app, maybe process it or change it a little, and then send it over to another app. It lets you automate these really complex tasks without ever having to write a single line of code. Okay, to really get a handle on NN, you only need to understand two core ideas: workflows and nodes. Seriously, that's it. These are the absolute fundamental building blocks for every single automation you're ever going to create. And here is the best way to think about it. A workflow is your big picture goal, right? The main task, like I want to send personalized emails to my entire contact list. The nodes then are just the individual steps you take to get there. You'll have one node to get the list, another node to process the data, and a final node to actually send the email. So simply put, the workflow is the container, and the nodes are the steps inside. And believe it or not, it gets even simpler. While NN has hundreds and hundreds of different nodes for all sorts of apps, every single one of them falls into just three main categories. So let's go ahead and open up this new automation toolbox. Okay, first up, you've got your trigger nodes. Just like the name says, they kick off your workflow. Maybe it's on a schedule, like run this every 2 hours. Second, you have logic nodes. These are like the brains of the operation. They let you add conditions, like an if statement. So you can say, hey, only send this email if the customer is from a certain city. And finally, you have application nodes. These are the real workhorses. They're the ones that actually talk to other apps, telling your Gmail account to send a message. And those triggers, they're incredibly flexible. An automation doesn't have to start on a timer. It could kick off the second a new message pops up in a chat, or when someone submits a form on your website, or even when a specific kind of email lands in your Gmail inbox. The possibilities here are just huge. So you might be wondering, what's actually happening under the hood with those powerful application nodes? Well, the secret is, they're really just a super user-friendly package for a standard HTTP request, which is basically the language the internet uses to talk to itself. And n8n just makes building them incredibly simple. So every one of these application nodes has three key parts. First are the credentials. This is what gives n8n permission to talk to your other apps securely. Second, you've got parameters. This is the specific info for the job, like who the email is going to and what the subject line is. And third, there are settings, where you can do more advanced stuff, like telling it to automatically try again if a request fails. Okay, so we've got our building blocks, right? We've got our triggers, our logic nodes, and our application nodes. So how do we actually connect them all to build a real working automation? Well, the magic is all in the data flow. It's a really simple but powerful idea. The data that one node produces, its output, automatically becomes the input for the very next node you connect it to. The data just flows like a river from one step to the next, seamlessly connecting your entire workflow together. Now, all of this sounds great in a perfect world, right? But we all know things can go wrong. An app might be down for a minute, or maybe the data isn't formatted correctly. So what happens when a step in your automation just fails? n8n gives you two really powerful ways to handle this. First, you can handle it at the node level. This means you can create a special error branch that comes off of a single node. So if that one specific step fails, the automation will follow this alternative path. But you can also handle it at the workflow level. This is where you create a totally separate workflow that uses a special error trigger, which, you guessed it, runs anytime any of your other workflows fail. It's like a safety net. And this is where that workflow level error handling becomes absolutely brilliant. You could build just one simple error workflow whose only job is to send you a quick Slack notification the second any of your other automations break. That way, you're never in the dark, you always know what's happening. So we've covered the building blocks and how to make them really robust. But where is all of this headed? Well, recently, n8n has gone all in on integrating artificial intelligence directly into its workflows, and it is opening up a whole new world of possibilities. And look, this isn't just some gimmick. You can now use AI to actually understand and extract data from messy text. You can talk directly with models from OpenAI, and you can even let the AI intelligently decide which path of a workflow to take based on the situation. You can even build entire AI agents with a simple drag-and-drop interface. It's pretty wild.
And to be perfectly clear, this is a massive strategic focus for them. The source material really highlights that n8n has essentially bet its entire future on deeply integrating these AI capabilities into the platform. This is not an afterthought. It's the core of where the whole thing is going.
So there you have it. From the simple building blocks of nodes and workflows to advanced error handling all the way to cutting-edge AI. You now have the fundamental concepts of n8n down. The only thing left to ask is what repetitive task are you going to automate first?